Hey Lawrence, I got your email and I just wanted to hit you up here, and I watched your jam on the B flat 7 and E flat 7, and I also watched the copy of my lick. That was really good, and listened to the other stuff, the Billy's Bounce, and I wanted to talk about what I listened to and what I heard from you on those videos. The first thing, you had a question about what progression that I'm doing on that lick, and I'm just doing a basic B flat 7 blues, and adding in the G7 going to C minor. So I'm going to comp it for you right now. This is just kind of the base, what I'm thinking about, just a basic B flat 7 to E flat 7, B flat 7, and then E flat 7, back to B flat, G7 altered like a G7 sharp 5 to C minor 7, F13, and then double that up, G7, C minor. Here it is again. You can throw an E diminished in. We talked about that last time. Here's a sharp 5 sharp 5 flat 9, C minor 9. And then so on and so forth. So that's where I started from. Now one thing, the first thing I want to go over the B flat, E flat. I have some notes here I'm looking at. So one thing is that I noticed is the biggest thing is what I mentioned in the first video, is that you need to work on more jazz rhythms. You need to get more vocabulary for your rhythms, and also starting, let's see, I want to say around 44 seconds, you start playing some ideas that you're trying to play licks that are too long, and you haven't developed the swing technique, not necessarily physical technique, but the swing feel rhythm, and I want to talk about that as well. And but from a minute to 44 seconds, you developed some really good ideas similar to what I was playing, and just staying in 6th position. And then I could tell from 44 seconds in to let's see here, 1 minute 20 seconds or so, you started kind of running some licks that and some scales, and got too busy too quickly. You were doing some really good development, and you didn't develop your ideas based on the first ideas that you were doing. And then you moved up here, and kind of the same type of thing. You were trying to play too fast, and the lines weren't swinging enough. They kind of straightened out. Then you went back to 6th position and kind of trying to rehash the ideas that you were doing in the beginning, but it kind of quite didn't work again. I think that's a vocabulary thing, and also a rhythmic thing, and also an arpeggio thing, which I want to discuss today at length. And I'm going to send you some PDFs that I'm going to print out, scan in for you. And then towards the very end of the solo, you kind of did a one up and down one string thing, and then you ended up in 1st position. And the 1st position thing was kind of similar to the 6th position. That's kind of what I thought, from listening to that video that you did. And the other stuff was good. It's really important to be able to copy things and to copy stuff and learn that the Billy's Bounce is good. Before I get deep into the bebop heads and that type of stuff, I would like to cover a little more basics. And one thing is that I didn't talk about in the first video is arpeggios, and knowing your arpeggios very strongly, because if you notice in the first video that well, if in the solo that you copied, I am playing basically arpeggios for every chord. And so I'm going to start with the B flat 7 first, and down in first position. So you and you can play a B flat 9 or 13. Let's see. So you want to get really comfortable with that B flat 7, and then here it is in 6th position. This is what I was working on in that solo B flat 7 right here. And what I like to do is 2nd finger, 1st finger, 3rd, and then I squeeze shift 1 3 2 1 4. And then and I include all these on the PDF that you can download and look at all the different fingerings. I do one here with the pinky. So knowing your arpeggios, this is one thing that guitar players overlook a lot, is because you want to go right to scales and a lot of fast notes and runs. But the arpeggios are your key notes, and if you know those inside and out, then you can make your scale runs much more meaningful, because you're leading to, you can lead your licks and lines to your arpeggios. Just another thing I wanted to say about that, you did a lot of blues shakes and vibrato stuff, kind of in a rock guitar sense. And all that stuff's good. I love the blues and I love rock, and we could talk about bending and vibrato in another video. But what I suggest to my students, when you're learning jazz, you want to take all that stuff out. No bending and no heavy vibrato, B.B. King type stuff. Just for now, not to say you want to take it completely out of your playing, but you want to limit your choices and try to develop your melodic ideas more than trying to use guitaristic type techniques. So when you're working on the solos and playing the blues, try to take that out for right now, and just focus on the melodic ideas. Another thing that I really like for B flat 7, besides the B flat 7 arpeggio, is your B flat 6 arpeggio. It's a little flat there. So that's like your boogie pattern. You know, we all know that kind of Happy Days, rock around the clock type stuff. And that also gives you if you combine them together, 1 3 5 6 flat 7. Down there, back to that. So in that song, using that to get some, that'll give you a lot of mileage with your licks. And another thing is just, again, rhythms. Just like that lick that I was playing there, you could use that rhythm as the basis for the entire solo. And then do there, I'm hitting that third of the G7. So you're the G7 at 3rd fret, and then G6, G7, and then C minor. Here's your C minor 7 arpeggio. Get down here in 3rd position. I'm still trying to get this camera together. So here's the G7. Throw in an 11 there, but so that's what you want to do. You want to really learn those arpeggios, and you can play your entire solo. That's basically that whole first lick that you learned of mine was based on all arpeggios. And so I'm going to demonstrate, and another thing I'm going to demonstrate this first, which is really cool, is just being able to walk bass lines to the blues, and just limiting your rhythm and making yourself be creative with just the notes that you choose. So and I'm going to play that progression: the B flat 7, E flat 7, 2 B flats, E flat 7, E flat 7. B flat 7, G7. I'm going to do regular G7 for right now, then C minor, F7, and then B flat. And also another thing, you want to learn your open position arpeggios. So here's B flat 7 in open position, and here's F7. F13, F6, and your E flat. So that's your E flat 7. Be able to tie them together. So here we go. I'm just going to do little bass lines. Another thing is to work with the metronome to improve your timing on 2 and 4. I don't know if you do this or not, but this is a really great exercise. I'm a big proponent of using the metronome. So I've got it on BPM 60, and it's clicking on 2 and 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Here's bass. G7, F, B flat, G7, C minor, F7, B flat, E flat, B flat, B flat, G7, C minor, F7, little walk up, and the top, E flat, B flat, B flat 6, E flat 7, C minor, F7, B flat, G7, C minor, F. C minor, F, G, C minor, F, B flat, E flat, B flat, F, and B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, G, and just big fat swinging quarter notes. Little scale run, E flat back to B flat, E flat, B flat, G, C minor, and there I just ran the B flat over the entire turnaround. You don't always have to nail every chord, but you want to be able to do that and learn how to tie in the notes between the chords. For example, let's just take the B flat 7 and E flat 7. Here's B flat. Here's our B flat 7, and so this, if you look at the B flat, and then here's E flat 7 right here. So now the B flat is in the E flat, so that note can be used the same. All these will work over both chords, your B flat. And then the D is the third of the B flat 7. It leads into the E flat. It's 1/2 step away from the root. So, and then when you play the third of the E flat, the G, it leads to the flat 7 of the B flat 7. So you could just play just the root and third going between those two chords. Third, root, third, flat 7, 5, third, root, third, flat 7. B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, E flat, B flat, B flat, B flat, E flat. So things like that, tying the arpeggios together, that's going to give your lines more melodic sense to them. Because in the beginning you were doing that, you know, and a lot of people know this, the third of the B flat 7 to the flat 3 of the E flat. I mean the flat 7. The third of the B flat becomes the flat 7. So right, that's and again, I talked a little bit about the rolls. You can do those rolls between the notes of the arpeggio, and again I'm using my 6 arpeggio, B flat 6, and then the B flat can be over the B flat and the E flat. So knowing the arpeggios are critical. The next step is to build some technical speed on being able to run the arpeggios, and what I usually have my students do first with these arpeggios is to do all the arpeggios on one string, and we're going to do eighth notes because the swinging eighths is the basis for jazz lines. So you're going to go 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and with eighth notes. So I'm going to demonstrate running through the whole progression. 1, 2, 1, 2, B flat 7, 1 and 2 and E flat, back to B flat, G7, C minor, F7, B flat. Okay, now when you hit that turnaround, it's twice as fast. Then you're back at the top again. And this is a standard blues progression that everybody plays. It's Tenor Madness. A million blues progressions have that dominant to the 2-5 1-6 2-5, and even though this isn't a minor 6 in your number system, it's a dominant 7. It's your subdominant going to the 2 chord. So let me run that again. Let me try to do it a little cleaner here. And so this is just eighth notes per measure over the entire progression. 1, 2. A 1, 2, 3, 4. E flat. C, G. Keep hitting the wrong fingering. One more time. Flat. Here we go, G7, C minor 7, F7. And that time, instead of running that turnaround, I just did the B flat 7 up for 2 measures. And that's the next thing, is to be able to, you don't want to just be able to go from root up. You need to be able to go up and down. So let's try it again here. I'm going to go backwards. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, now I was having a little trouble nailing that flat 7, but again, those are the technical challenges of the guitar you need to work on. Now I'm gonna start improvising within that, and again, just using those shapes and be able to create lines just using those, and you can make something really melodic. And I appreciated that you said, Monty hits all the right notes. The reason I'm hitting all the right notes is because I'm only playing arpeggios, and those are the sweet notes, and you'll never sound bad or wrong if you just nail arpeggios. And just the key is getting that swing and using that metronome. And I'm going to slow it down, not slow it down, but just shorten it. I'm just going to use 4 notes as a way to start, and that's what you want to do. You don't want to try to attempt the real long lines that you were doing in that one jam, just to build your technique and get your swing feel. So here we go. I'm just going to go 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1. 1. All right, so 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Let me try it again here. What I'm doing is I'm trying to count out loud, but I'm going 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2, 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1. And again, here's the C minor 7. A lot of guys look over the C minor 7 arpeggio because they want to run that pentatonic, but it's interesting just 4 notes. Now see, that's like pentatonic. So all those type of patterns you want to work out on the arpeggio. So let me try that one more time, the 4-note groupings, okay? Here's actually an easier exercise. I'm going to leave the last 2 beats of each measure out. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Another one, E flat, back to B flat, G7, C minor, F7, back to B flat, F7. Now again, to simplify, instead of running that fast, you can just do B flat 7 for one measure and then F7, and I'm going to use that right now just as a demo. Now what I'm going to do here, I'm going to start with the roots, and then I'm going to change it up and start adding in, start on the 3rd, start on the 5th, but I'm only going to do 4-note patterns for every chord, and this is something that you can work on. And you can use, again, just like the strings on one string, you can't do enough of this type of work. So here we go, 1 and 2 and that's your rhythm, and think of it, ba ba do bop, ba ba do bop, and all those the offbeats are short, ba ba do bop, ba ba do bop. Root position, backwards, backwards, forwards, G7, backwards, C minor, F7, B flat, back to F. Now, E flat, left the G out, F, F, one more time, top, E flat, B flat, backwards, and G7, C minor, F, B flat, just 2 notes, 4 notes all together, but just 2. F, back to B flat, F. Now here we go, 3 to 1. And then you build it from there. But again, just like what I was talking about with the tremolo and the bending and everything, you want to limit yourself. When you do, you force yourself to think more about what you're doing and being deliberate. And it's something I struggle with too. My guitar teachers and mentors tell me the same thing, is to be disciplined and to be able to think exactly, okay, in this exact moment, I'm going to do this. I'm going to play flat 7, 5, 3, 1. Or I'm going to go 1, 3, 5, flat 7, or 1, 3, 5, 6. And to be able to think in the heat of the moment and know what you're going to do right before you play it. So you have the confidence. Let me do another pattern, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. Let's just do that 1 and 2 and 3 and leave the 4 off with the rest. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 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 1 and 2. A little different. Now G7. I screwed that up. I see again. I'm struggling with it as well. You know, everybody. You know, everyone can working on it, even the great masters, because we want to start jamming and we want to start playing other things, but to limit yourself and do that. So let me try again. I'm going to stick to my same rhythm, 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, here we go. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, again, this time I didn't limit myself to the 6-string shapes, and again, something that I need to work on as well as everybody. You know, you can always be more disciplined with it. One thing, the next thing from there is to be able to do all the arpeggios in a box formation. So you have B flat 7 here, then E flat 7. And then B flat 7, and then C minor, F7, and so that way you're just using those 4 shapes and work on being able to voice lead the different whatever note you're on, know where the next note is of the next chord. And I noticed too a couple of times you hit some clunkers on that B flat to E flat 7, not hitting the right notes. And again, when you take away the scales and just focus on the arpeggios, every note sounds good. So I'm going to do that this time, and I'm going to stick with my 1 and 2 and 3 and rhythm. But you can do this. You can just do 1 and 1 and 1 and 2, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3, 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and so you can work it from 1 to 8 notes in one measure. So we'll do the 1 and 2 and 3 and here we go, and just using the box shapes. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Now another thing what I'm doing here is after the E flat, 2 E flats, I'm playing 2 B flats, and I'm leaving the G7 out. I'm just going to use those 4 since that's what we talked about in that previous lesson. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and. So being able to take that C minor, 1 and 2 and 3 and then come backwards down your F7, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and 1 and 2 and 3 and B flat to F7. So let's just use those 4 chords in our box shape. Maybe if I start getting adventurous, I'm gonna add some more in. Now I'm gonna try something. I'm just gonna go 1 and. So 1 and 1 and 1 and B flat, 1 and 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 1 and. This is E flat, back to B flat, B flat, C minor, F, F7. Now here we go. B flat, E flat, B flat, F and B flat, F and B flat. Okay, I started changing up positions. You know, do it here at 6. Do all the chords down here 1 through 5, up at 10 through 13, 13, and so that should keep you going for a good while. And again, let's talk about the rhythms one more time. I just want to go over just straight eighths. So here you can just go 1. Here's pattern 1, just one note. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 1, 1, 2, and 1, 1, 1, 1, and F7 and C minor back and 1 and F7. Now 2 notes and 1 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 and now 1 and 2 and 4, 1 and 2 3 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 4 notes, 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and B and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and. Now 1 and 2. Let's see. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Yeah, no, yeah, 1 and 2 and. Now I'm going to do 1 and 2 and 3. So here we go, 1 and 2 and 3. 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 Okay, now 1 and 2 and 3 and. 1 and 2 and 3 and. Okay, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. Okay, a little screw ups there. But one thing I started doing, I started using that 6 arpeggio too. I've started emphasizing that 7, but again, that 6 arpeggio because it's you can use it on major, minor, and dominant chords, and so. It's one note shy of the major pentatonic, and we all know how nice that sounds. So work on that, and then once you can do 1 through 8 with your rhythms, and again, I want to emphasize that's the biggest thing I'm hearing in your playing is that rhythm thing that it. Especially when you start doing the long notes, so you want to get your swing groove tighter. And again, metronome on 2 and 4, start on 60 and bump it all the way up to 120. That'll be 240. And then here's another exercise, again, using simplification. Start on, don't start on 1, but we're going to do the and of 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 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 2, 3, 4, G7 and 2, 4 and 2, 3, 4 and 2, 3, 4 F. Here's the top and Okay, so yeah, the first one I did a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 1 and getting that feel, 1 and a 1 and a 1 and. Now I'm going to do it on 2, A 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 2, 3, 4. A 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, and 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 so on and so forth. You can add that out. If you start on the and of 1, you can do 7 different patterns starting on the and of 1. You can go 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you can do a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, and. I mean, a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, and 2, 1, and 2, 3, 4, 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 and 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, 3, 4, okay, and then do and 2 and. So 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and 2 and 1 and let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. And so on and so forth. I'm going to think about that and work on that. This is the first time I've probably thought about all the different possibilities, but it's something you want to be totally free with. And again, this is something I'm still working on. Probably rhythm was one of the weaker elements of my playing in the beginning when I started off, and so it's something that I constantly have to work at and exercise. So I'm going to do this exercise along with you, and so I hope that helps, and shoot me back and tell me what you think about that. And I'd like to see some videos of yourself doing the up and down the one string with the scales, and then apply these rhythms to the scales as well. So like say I'm going to do my B flat 7 scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 4, 4, 3, 4. Okay, so on and so forth. Then E flat. So I'm going 1 and 3 and 1 and 3 and. So any kind of small groups like that, 2 notes at a time, 3 notes at a time, 4 notes at a time. But try to get rid of this, and the slurs as well for right now only. I mean, slurs are very valuable, especially to get that horn type sound, but just for articulation purposes right now, just focus on alternate picking everything, no extra real heavy bends, and no rock bends for right now. All right, well, thanks a lot. Hope you enjoy.